Hey, do it live! Do it live! We're live. We're live. I think we're live. Are we live? Are we live? Are we live? Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. This is Brune. Today's date, Sunday, March 23rd, 2025. Do you know what's special about today, folks? It is 5 years anniversary for the first lockdown in the UK, where we were locked down for no real reason at all. The first wave had passed. It was a control exercise. People's lives were destroyed. We were doing okay in 2020, and then they just put all that shit onto us. So never mind, folks. We are here now. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So, should we get some guests out? Yeah, you know it. Let's do it. Okay. So, first up, Edley Lesland. Hi, Price.
Hey, what's up?
You all right, mate?
Yeah, I'm good.
Any COVID memories for the peeps?
No, nothing really. No,
No.
I don't know what memories. It was a
Oh.
long window of time. You know, a lot of sat around and watched TV.
COVID was okay for the first few months. Then we realised it wasn't a holiday. But anyway, Price, it's great to have you on, mate. Should we get the next peep out?
Absolutely.
Okay, so it's your buddy, the channel's very own astromech droid. It is Professor R2.
Hello.
Hello, Prof. You all right?
Hey, yeah, I'm a little tired today, but I'm doing all right. COVID memory, that's don't even want to think. I will say we were lucky enough to have moved to a new home where we had some more space right before lockdown happened. If we had been living in the smaller house that we had during lockdown, it would have been a living hell. But thankfully, we had a little more space to kind of spread out. And everyone had their own rooms and everything, so it was a little bit easier to do work from home and school from home and all that mess. But yeah, my daughter had to do kindergarten on an iPad from home. That was not a lot of fun. So yeah.
Well, we're here now. Prof, it's great to have you on, mate.
Yes, thank you. Glad to be here. Who else we got?
Should we get? Yes. Okay, I'll give you a clue, everybody. Shit. Secret of comedy, timing. Hello, Ed.
Yeah. Hi, everybody.
You're right.
Yes, it really is shit, isn't it?
It is. 5 years on, and it's shit.
All I remember is sleeping a lot when we were at lockdown.
There were a few late starts. Yeah, there were a few late starts.
But I was actually working in lockdown because there was that rule where if you couldn't work from home, you could work. You could so like I was doing shoots. Obviously, everybody had to wear masks and stuff like that. So that was the rule, wasn't it? And
yeah,
I remember getting in the cab and driving. There was hardly any cars on the street at all. It was like a ghost town.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Okay. Shall we? There is another.
There is indeed, but it's going to mess with your OCD, isn't it?
I'll live with it. But what a guest, yes.
I'll give you a clue, everybody. Bar of soap.
Get your carbolic soap
out.
On standby, everybody.
Yeah.
It is the mighty Vex Electronica.
Eat a dick for bringing up COVID lockdowns. I am still living through the issues associated with COVID lockdowns. Bastards. The government is still after me for COVID lockdowns.
Oh.
Damn you for remembering.
Damn you!
Why would you remember this of all things?
Because it's the anniversary, isn't it? Because it's
But
been on the
why?
radar and everything. It's
But
everywhere.
why?
It was on. I don't know.
Because it's 5 years.
Yeah. It was on LBC. They were talking about it all freaking day.
Well, at least a bunch of the governments are finally admitting that a lot of the stuff that they did was terrible.
Wrong. Here you go. Sir Melvin of the deeply wrenched world of sport. See, this is it. Spot on. Fuckers. How's it going, boys?
Yeah.
Spot on.
Yeah.
Okay. So you good, Vex?
Oh yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Up until I mentioned.
Yeah, until you mentioned the thing that ruined a lot of my life. But I guess without COVID, I wouldn't be on YouTube. So
Yes, same here. It ruined a lot of people's lives.
Businesses as well.
For no reason at all. Tanked the economy, everything.
I would be a lawyer right now if it weren't for COVID.
Then we wouldn't have gotten to know you then.
No. Well, actually, I was planning to go to law school in the UK, so maybe. Who knows?
Oh, okay.
Perhaps we would have run into each other at a pub or something, even though I don't drink. Who knows?
You'd probably say to me, "Get the fuck out of my way."
You'd have been
Probably.
you'd have been a human rights lawyer and defending boat people. Anyway, let's move on. Okay, so you'd be very rich.
Hello. It's Rachel. Is it Rachel? Rachel Zigla.
Yes, it's Rachel.
Rachel Zigla.
Episode 267, Musings, today's date. Happy anniversary. Please like, share, subscribe. Okay, so good evening, chat. We can see you. Good evening. So this is the biggie this week, isn't it, peeps?
I wouldn't say it's a biggie. It's a thing that happened this week, though. Yes.
Vex, care to go first? Then are we doing spoilers?
Nobody cares.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Spoilers, everybody. Snow White, everybody.
As has been said, you cannot spoil something that's already rotten.
True. This movie sucks. I was texting the MMM guys the entire time I was watching it, and everything I sent to them, I was able to find a Homelander meme that matched with what I was saying. This movie was terrible. It was worse than Captain America 4. It suffered from the same issues as Captain America 4. I thought The Little Mermaid was the worst they could do, but there's this. There is legitimately nothing good about this movie. I will say there was something really funny in which they fired all of the dwarves to put CG dwarves in, but then they left one real person midget in there on the cast. So that was kind of entertaining.
Person.
It's a midget. Let's be honest, Price. There's no need to dress it up.
I'll tell you this. I actually know people from that community and I understand that for them it's really important. So I do it if it's so important to people that you don't call them that. You know what? If little people is what works for them, I don't mind saying that.
They don't care though, do they?
Words only have power if you give them power.
No, they do actually really care about it because I guess the word started in some kind of circus setting and it had like a negative connotation to it, and that's why like at least most of them the word is considered offensive. So I have no reason to say it. If I see people like that, I'll just say little people. I mean, why would I go out of my way to offend people?
Little people seems belittling.
You know, that's what they like. If that's what they like, what am I going to say? Most of the people that I've ever met from that community, that's what they like.
Price.
Anyway, Price, you watched Snow White, yes?
I've seen it. I've seen this movie. Yes, I agree with Vex. Everything except for the semantics. I agree with Vex. The part that was the biggest joke is they first of all auditioned. What a lot of people in the media don't know, but I actually know this even, because of my industry knowledge. They auditioned people that were little people for the roles of those dwarfs initially.
Disney denied it though.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something. This is not a dude, trust me, bro. I know somebody who auditioned for that. And this isn't something that somebody told me or I read it in some strange tinfoil thing. Yeah. I can't say any more than that, but I actually know somebody. They auditioned a lot of people. I know somebody who is a little person and auditioned for that thing. And initially they gave them the impression that this is a real thing. There were people that did like multiple, had to even film themselves and do multiple things. And at the end, suddenly, they just all kind of, the rug was pulled out from under them. And suddenly, after Peter Dinklage, it was around that time he said what he said, they hired that kind of a diversity barista gang or whatever they call them. And what they did is then they decided on the CGI because of the backlash. But because I guess they didn't want to make it seem like they're also firing all the diverse baristas, they kept them in the movie along with the CGI.
Yes.
So, and in the movie you feel it because they don't know what to do with all these characters, and it seems so awkwardly stitched together that you could tell what a shit show that whole movie is.
So it's because that the famous photograph of the those people on
people
meadow with Snow White, the small people, because we thought they were the dwarfs.
They were the dwarfs. This is they were actually the dwarfs, the ones that we all made fun of, that we said were the new dwarfs. They were the new dwarfs, but because Disney understood how badly that would be received, they decided to bring in the CGI dwarfs and do a year of delay filming it. But then the problem was, what do we do with all these diverse people that we hired? If we fire them now after we already filmed them, there'll be like backlash that we fired diverse people. So their compromise, I guess, even though nobody's admitting it, is that they kept the diversity forest gang along with the CGI dwarfs and tried to do like a mashup of the two together.
Yeah.
And it is so awkward. It is so awkward when you watch the movie. It doesn't work at all.
Hold on. A mashup of what? I'm confused.
Yes. Okay. Basically, here's the mashup. They first of all, they had the real little people. Okay, they didn't take them all. They canceled all their audition and final calls and whatever. They hired the diversity gang. They started filming the diversity gang. People saw the diversity gang, made fun of it. So then they said, okay, we're going to replace them with CGI dwarfs. But then somebody said, but we already have contracts, and these diversity gang, they're already here. What do we do with them? Do we just fire them? So then Disney said, no, we can't fire them. Also, especially because people saw those photos. So it'll be like they're not saving face.
Saving
so
face.
They said, why don't we incorporate them into the movie and then have two groups of 7 people, one the CGI dwarfs and 7 diversity gang members, and they're all going to work together. And
so who was the diversity gang members?
The baristas from Starbucks, the hipsters,
the 7 magical homeless people,
the 7
the young prince's ground crew, as it were.
I don't think they were his ground crew initially.
Nope.
I think that this was a workaround to try to make
but they weren't all midgets.
No, that's the point.
Okay. I got you.
They couldn't have small people.
They got rid of the small people. Yes.
Right.
Courtesy of Dinklage. Yeah.
Dinklage complained that they had little people in the movie, so they didn't take them, and then they said, we'll do a diversity gang. But once people were laughing at the diversity gang, they said, we'll do CGI dwarfs, but they didn't want to fire the diversity people that everybody already saw online. So they had to scratch their heads and think, how do we keep them still in the movie so we don't look like assholes, but at the same time, bring the actual dwarfs in here.
Yeah.
Well, that explains why his the Robin Hood guy was basically Robin Hood. Why he didn't have like a proper gang, because I was wondering what was going on, because like when he's introduced, he's talking about how there's this group of people in the woods that are trying to fight against tyranny and whatnot.
Yep.
And then we don't see this group at all, except for this one midget who's apparently really good with a bow.
It was a combination of rewrites and saving face.
And weird edits. And as a lot of people have pointed out, they actually, the part that they filmed in the forest looks like some kind of thing that they actually filmed in a real forest.
Yes. Which
was very strange all of a sudden. All of the part where you see the diversity gang, the prince, the CGI dwarves, and Snow White, a ton of reshoots and a ton of stitching together. That's why if you look at it, it doesn't quite make sense. And those are the weakest parts of the movie. It really brings the movie down.
Gotcha. Yeah, sorry, Eggs BD, I am a little bit slow today. I'm a wee bit tired. I'm sorry. I had a point. Someone else go.
Coffee. That's what you need.
I've got tea with me right now because it's too
Oh.
late in the day to have coffee. So
I watched it. I went out my way to watch it. There was about 5 people in the theatre. Sorry, 2 families of kids. The kids were bored.
Oh.
I was
man, the
bored.
kids were bored in the bootleg copy I watched too. Like, I could
think-
feel how bored they were.
I think it got to about 1 hour 30, and I was holding off looking at my watch, and it got to about 1 hour 30, and I had to look at my watch.
There were like a lot of just like logical things that didn't make a lot of sense. Like, so Snow White gets trapped for like 15 years working as a maid for her stepmother or whatever. And
Yep.
it seems that even though like it's easy for this one thief to get in, or she has access to the front gate, nobody in the town that is right in front of this front gate has seen her. No other maids have seen her. No passersby have seen her. And then the queen is like, "Oh, to the huntsman, take her to her favorite orchard and kill her." But then she dresses her in her best outfit, and somehow all of these years, Snow White has had an outfit ready
That's pristine
for
as well.
this. That's like pristine and everything. Then the huntsman is like, "No, I don't want to kill you." So she runs through a jungle, which I actually kind of liked the horror elements in that part of the story of the movie. And then she falls into a swamp down a hole. And as she meets like the dwarves and that deer and Bambi and whatnot, the environmental artists forgot that she was in a swamp, and then from one scene to the next,
Pristine.
she's suddenly in a field and there's no water anywhere, but she's still dripping. It was very odd.
And what about the costume? Was that wet?
The costume was wet, her hair was wet, but like it was just she was no longer in and she hadn't moved. She was still down sitting on the ground. So like at least if she had walked that would make sense, but she didn't.
I have a comment at least to why part of this came out so badly. What happens is if you recently watched, and I actually did this, I watched the original Snow White animation.
Oh, good on you.
So basically, there were scenes like that forest thing and the animals that they were actually trying to really take visual cues from that original movie.
I could tell, yeah.
And in the way they put it together, somehow it doesn't work. I don't know, if it's laziness or just reshoots, re-edits, or whatever it is that they did. But part of the reason why in an animated cartoon, you can get away with a lot of things that if you try to make it live action, it'll really not come off the same way. And I think that in the animation, they did it really, really well. Even though it was 1937, they did it much better than these guys did it in 2025.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Brown.
I was going to say, did you notice all the DEI of the extras?
Yes,
it was insane.
It was just like we need 3 black people, 17 Caucasian, 4 Asian, and it was just like that in the extras. Even the main cast had a little bit of. It was just everything was like a perfect.
You know what's funny though? I agree with everything you're saying, Brown, but the movie had so many issues that was probably low on my list. Not because it wasn't there, but because there were so many much bigger issues there that, like, almost as an afterthought, like, I made my video review, and when I finished, I'm like, oh, I forgot to mention that they were in a village and they were all very diverse. But it really wasn't the first thing on my list. But I agree with you. It's strange that
first on mine because I spotted it because I'm dumb.
It's like a small village with like 3 people, and all of them are super diverse. Like, where did they come from? I
don't know if you guys noticed in the final confrontation between Snow White and the Queen, because when Snow White comes back to the village, they all follow her, right? And as the shots like switch in between, Snow White and the Queen, I noticed that all of the villagers, when the movie opened, there was a mix of men and women. Suddenly, all of the villagers, after so many years under the Queen, are just women.
Of course they are. I didn't even notice, but I agree with you even before looking. I'm surprised they weren't all women to begin with. Like, I'm surprised that there were even a few men. Maybe they did that because there were the few guards at the end. That
maybe
she's like, I know who you are. You once had potatoes in your garden and people ate them. He's like,
right. There's speaking of the animals though that you did mention, because I did pick up on that because I found it very odd that like for the first like 25 minutes of the movie, Snow White is basically just in a castle setting. She has no interaction with really anyone, let alone like animals. And then suddenly when she's kind of thrust into the forest and whatnot, and she's, you know, dripping wet, she's all friends.
And what about
with
the costume?
Oh, the costume was soaking. Suddenly she's able to communicate with all of these animals. And again, I haven't had a chance to rewatch the 37 original, but I could even just see in the color palette they were going for that they were trying to copy what that film had done. But they didn't do their diligence in kind of helping as an audience understand why she has such a connection to the animals or why the animals even like her. Because like even later on when the witch comes to the house as the old woman, a vulture and the animals go to warn everyone, but
Was she dripping?
No, she wasn't dripping. No, but
she was
somehow
dry, wasn't she?
Somehow that old woman was hotter than Rachel Zegler, which is kind of disappointing.
That was Gal Gadot in makeup.
Gal Gadot was fucking terrible. I already knew she was a terrible actress, but good lord, I didn't think it was possible to sink even lower.
I felt bad for her. At least she looks like she, with the tools she had available, it looks like she at least made an effort.
She was hotter than Snow White.
She seemed happy to be there. It's just that you don't believe that she's the queen. You needed somebody like I said it in my video, like a Cate Blanchett or like an Olivia Colman. You needed somebody that could really look like so mean that you believe that this is like a menacing queen. And Gal Gadot seems to me just kind of like a nice person. That's what she seems like to me, at least. And that comes through in every shot that they filmed her. And she's maybe not the best actress with the best range either. So you just look at her and she just looks happy to be there. And that really isn't what you need from an evil queen.
Blanchett, you know what? In Thor was great.
I kind of disagree with you, Price, because I think the script was the biggest thing. So no matter who you had in that role, because the motivations of the queen and her being properly established as the antagonist was not done, it didn't matter who you put in that role. It was just more comical because Gal Gadot can't act at all, and seeing her sing was even worse because
I felt bad for her. I felt bad for her. I don't know why. The one thing is that I'll tell you one thing. When she walks into the room initially and the king is there and he's lonely and she walks into the palace, she looks really good in that shot.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only part that I believed in the whole movie, that the king is like miserable and suddenly she walked in and they're like, and the beautiful woman walked in and I'm like, wow. And like, I understood why the king was into her. Like he was completely charmed. Like Gal Gadot really looked good in those few shots where she entered the palace. So that was probably the best part of the movie.
There's another issue I had with this though. There's no color theory to this whatsoever. I don't know if this was because of the reshoots or it's just the way that it was edited, but I don't know if you guys noticed how bland and awkward every single color palette in the scenes were. Oh wow, killed it. Oh wow. Okay.
Haven't seen it. I can't comment.
Was everything orange or teal? Because that's how all the movies in Hollywood look now.
So, like for example,
your scene is either orange or teal.
I was too busy looking at my watch.
They did a good job at like getting the colors right on Snow White's actual like the classic dress. The design is a different story. But then you look at all the backgrounds, and so some backgrounds are CGI. So it's got like this nice clean filter over it where some of the colors are undersaturated in order to let light shine through better. So you don't get this proper magical feel with it. And then when it comes to some of the live action shots, then like the village is a great example because the village is all just this one monotone blue color to it for most scenes. And they try to dress it up by having the townsfolk in colorful outfits, but then there's no like pattern or logic to it. So like the best example is like that opening dance sequence where they're all singing about fucking pies and communism or whatever. they're just all over the place. Everyone is just wearing a random color because color means kids movies, but there's no organization. So visually it just kind of looks like I'm looking at paint splatters on a wall or on like a blank canvas. Whereas you look at how a Disney movie is usually done, when they have like those animated choreography scenes, there's usually like there's walls and layers of colors they incorporate in order to make the scene more dynamic and to make it hit a lot harder. So I don't know. That's something that consistently bothered me because it also didn't make sense why Snow White had this. She was the one person with a properly colored outfit, and then everyone else just looked like they were wearing like potato sacks. Even like Gal Gadot's character, even though they had all these fake sequins on her and shit like that, I didn't get like that. I didn't get menacing colors from her whatsoever. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like someone who didn't know what they were doing was in charge of so many things that they shouldn't have been in charge of.
Well, the entire company, by the sound.
Yeah, I was going to say that's all of
it's
Disney
not just
now.
Did anybody like the? Who remembers RoboCop 2?
Didn't watch it.
I remember it. Yeah.
The mirror person was like Kane out of RoboCop 2.
Oh, interesting. I just thought it looked kind of like it looked like the mirror from
it looked like very kind of early 90s CGI of faces. Kane, RoboCop 2.
You know what? That didn't actually bother me. Again, I saw the original and it kind of looked sort of like the original. Maybe there was a better way to do it. Again, out of issues I had with the movie, that's on the lower part of the list. I don't disagree with you, but it didn't bother me as much.
Okay, question. At the end, when it's all going, when it's all turning to shit for Gal Gadot, and there's a bit of a riot, as it were, the first thing she wants to do is go straight to the mirror.
Didn't make sense. This is what I mean by them not establishing the antagonist and her motivations properly.
No, also... Sorry, go on.
Sorry. No, go ahead.
I'm saying there's another big issue with the mirror, and this is the biggest issue maybe of the whole movie that really also highlights what Vex just said. Basically, she keeps asking the mirror initially, who's the fairest of them all? And he says, you are. And then suddenly after Snow White gives Jonathan a piece of bread and releases him, he says, well, because Snow White showed that kindness, she's now the fairest of them all. But here's the issue. Because they're saying it's not fairest. Like fairest doesn't mean the most beautiful. It means the person who's the most fair. Like her behavior, she behaves fairly. So if that's the case, if the metric was who behaves fairly, why would the queen ever been told that she's the fairest of them all? Because she's obviously a bitch, supposedly. So why would anybody say that she's the fairest of them all? Because she's asking who's the most... Do you get what I'm saying? She's asking the mirror.
I get what you're saying, yeah. Because even at the beginning of the movie, they established that, it's that the queen is the prettiest of them all. And then that's kind of followed up with that dumb conversation she has with Snow White in the living room, where it's just like, the people don't want food. They want gems because gems mean something. You know what I mean? And then, yeah, you're right. And then it changes at the end of the movie to just be like, Snow White's an actual fair person, not just beautiful. And it doesn't make sense why she would die.
Right. You can't have it both ways. Either the mirror, what it does is it tells people who the most beautiful one is, or who the most fair person that they behaves fairly. If it behaves fairly, Snow White would have been the quote unquote fair one from day one. If it's beautiful, it would have been the queen. You know what I mean? You can't suddenly change it midstream. You can't suddenly say, well, the mirror was always doing this, but now it feels like doing something differently. And it's not like anybody explained to the audience why the mirror would shift from beauty to she acts very fairly.
Here you go, folks. It's the Phobos. I love my friend Wrenched. When you make changes to a story, those changes ripple out through the rest of the narrative and cause problems.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That they do.
All the issues become glaringly obvious the more and more you think about it, and then the reshoots become obvious, the rewrites become obvious, the relationship between Snow White and Robin Hood too, abysmal. Basically, he still kisses her awake, and then as soon as she awakens, she starts singing a song about how she has to lead people and be the person that her father raised. And it's just like, oh, fuck this guy that just saved your life, I guess. It also isn't properly established that a kiss would even wake her up. He just kind of decides to kiss a dead body.
Yeah. Well, there's one thing that I will say, that they kept this from the original movie. And again, this is part of the things where they kept certain elements from the movie, but then a lot of stuff they didn't, and that's why it doesn't work. When Gal Gadot is making the potion to do the apple with the poison, she does look in the book and kind of mumbles that the antidote is a true love's kiss. She does say that. So that's like that in the original movie, although in the original movie, I feel like they gave that more of an emphasis, and in this one, it kind of seems like an afterthought, maybe a reshoot, but she does say it. So the prince, so they did establish that. But what I'll say is that I agree with you with one thing: the prince, not the prince, Jonathan, the thief. That they replaced the prince with a thief, which is really annoying. Jonathan, the
Robin
thief,
Hood,
sort of, not even.
Yeah.
Riding
Robin
through
Hood
the
was
glen.
cool. Robin Hood was cool. This guy isn't even cool. He's like a moist Robin Hood. In any case, he kisses
Somebody
her.
else who's dripping.
She wakes up, and it's like you said, like she's not like, oh, I love you, you're so great. She wakes up and she's like, I got to lead a revolution to get rid of the queen. And it's like, what? Like, who the fuck are you? Like, what revolution? Like, who are you? Why wouldn't anybody listen to you?
In the last 10 minutes of the film, by the way, the last 10 minutes. So that isn't even given the time to breathe. The other thing about the prince and whatnot, I don't know if you picked up on this
gone.
at all. But did I cut out?
You did.
I know I heard you. You said the prince and all, something like that.
Oh, okay. No, another thing that I noticed with the prince is that he looked alarmingly like her father. Like if you put them next to each other, it was the same person, which was quite disturbing.
I see. And I have a final thing. This is the part.
Welcome
incest
incestual.
This is the part that I want to tell you that I don't know if you noticed, that really like emphasizes how poorly reshot and how poorly constructed this movie was. There's a part that the prince jumps in front of an arrow and he gets hit by an arrow, and then one of the CGI dwarfs or somebody comes up to the princess and says, "Oh, you really like the prince?" And then she says, "Why would I like him? He only thinks about himself." And I'm like thinking to myself, he just jumped in front of an arrow to save your life. That is the weirdest line of dialogue.
Weird.
Totally
Can you hear? Because is he zoning out? Is Price zoning out, or is it just me?
I think it's just you.
Yeah, it must be you.
I think it's you.
Okay, maybe I should go and come back in again or something.
Do that.
So basically, she's like, "Why? He only thinks of himself." And when I sat there in the theater, I'm like, "This is the worst writing ever." And then the CGI dwarf says, "No, he doesn't just think of himself. He just took an arrow for you." So I'm like thinking to myself, this is so strange. Like it's a reshoot, and maybe the CGI dwarf is trying to clean it up in some way. I don't know. A lot of things didn't make sense here.
His motivations didn't make sense either, because again, he's introduced as like, oh, I'm trying to safe keep these people that are trying to escape the queen's tyranny, but then his motivations just change as soon as he sees like the spread between Rachel Zegler's eyes, and he's like, I'm in love now. I can abandon everything. Yes.
Hello,
so also that arrow injury, they completely forgot about it after it happened.
Yeah, he healed very quickly. Did that
very quickly? Yeah, he just he was back on his feet, and he just like knew.
Yeah. The scene at the end, the Diddy party at the end that everyone is referencing on Twitter and stuff. I was very confused by this. Again, this is another issue with the color theory. If you just put everything in white, it doesn't really tell or say anything, and they're all dancing really weird on top of that, but it's not quite a wedding. You would think it was a wedding celebration, but it's not a wedding, so I'm trying to figure out what the
know
point
what it was.
Of that was.
It was a You Go Girl celebration. It was basically they had a picture of her as the queen, and they wanted to like end the movie with she's not getting married, everybody's celebrating that she's the best, and that's the end of the movie.
It felt like the Marvels dance sequence.
The Marvels dance sequence at least had some color to it.
And Brie.
Yeah. And Brie's got tits at least, because Zegler is not filling out that dress, by the way. It was like watching a 12-year-old prance around.
God.
Like, it was just a stick. Like, if the wind blew a little bit hard, she would have toppled over.
Brie is looking real good compared to Rachel Zegler.
Real good.
Real good.
Okay.
Like, it's just, I was hoping that I just want to see some titties sometimes, okay? Like, this is not to be a gooner or a pervert, but when I see a character that is meant to be like all-encompassing of beauty and whatnot, I don't want to see someone with, you know, a Lord Farquaad haircut and no tits, no ass, just a stick figure,
She can
and
sing,
then
though.
eyes that are so far apart that you could fit the Atlantic Ocean in between them. I want to see a woman.
She can
So
sing,
if they had
though.
just put some cup fillers in there, that's all you had to do to make this look a bit better.
Mega Geek's had enough. He's fucked off.
You know who would have been good, or somebody like her, when they did the Enchanted movie with Amy Adams.
Great movie.
Amy,
Yes.
that's a good movie, and Amy Adams
Great
gave
movie.
a fantastic performance. She gave a
Yes.
Snow White style performance. Like if she had black hair instead of the red hair, and she was that age today, and she was suddenly like a Snow White type of character, I would totally believe it. I feel like she was the kind of person that they needed to look for this role. Instead, they're just like, we'll take Zegler. And I agree with you, Brown. She knows how to sing technically. She can sing the songs. But aside from that, really not much I can say that's good about her.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because in the back room before you joined, I was saying that exact thing. Is Enchanted was a
Great
blueprint
movie.
for a live action Snow White film. It got everything right. It did the choreography right. It did shot composition right. I don't know if you guys noticed how terrible the camera work was during the Queen's first musical sequence. The color palette was great. The dialogue was great. Like it managed to walk that line of like kind of ridiculous, fantastical cartoon as well as real world. The motivations were adequately established. It's bruh.
I said to Ian before we came on, if this had been made in 2008, like Enchanted was, this would have been a winner.
Yeah.
I have no intention of seeing this. None.
It's really not
either.
worth time. It's worth no one's time. Like even just if you wanted to kind of have a laugh at it, it's not worth it because there's nothing here. All it is just this weird mishmash of things that you shouldn't be doing to just make a basic film. And somehow Disney blew some insane budget, and this was the product that came out of that.
Disney blew Snow White.
The way they did Enchanted, also the fact that it's like fantasy world
Great
meets
movie.
the real world. I think that at least like if they wanted something for modern audiences and a little bit of humor, they managed to get that, but they didn't ruin at the heart of it what makes these kind of Disney princesses work.
Exactly.
And that's why the Enchanted movie was so good. But I will also say none of that would have worked without the casting of Amy Adams. I rarely give this kind of compliment. That was a slam dunk home run
I
performance.
agree. Yeah.
You know what?
Really, really good.
You know what else? Amy Adams is a small titty girl, and they still made those melons pop in that movie.
Yeah, she's cute. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a bit overweight now, isn't she?
She got old.
She got old, mate, and babies.
Yeah.
Okay. So, price marks out of, you do 100, don't you?
Yeah, I do out of 100.
How many puppets out of 100?
I like anything under a 60 for me is a failure. I probably gave this too high of a score. I think I gave it like a 48 or something. Now when I think about it, when we were talking about it, probably should have been like a 30 something, but it is what it is.
Vex, how many soaps out of 10?
I don't give this soaps. I give this let me think. I give this 1.5 disenfranchised midgets in a dark, cold forest out of 10.
Little people.
Okay.
This movie was just terrible. Like you don't have like the progressive stuff is not even what kills it. It's everything else.
I agree.
Everything else.
Okay, I'm going to give it out of 10. I'm not one either. I'm going to give it very disappointed. I was very disappointed with this film. You could tell that it was just reshot to hell, to within an inch of its life. Lots of stuff didn't make sense. Should have been a movie that is so important to Disney as Snow White. This should have been masterpiece territory.
You got a raid, by the way.
I know.
Oh.
Hello, Slayer Nation. Yes, I know.
They should never have made this film.
Yeah. I'm going to give it 5.5 out of 10, everybody.
It didn't
5.5?
It's an in-joke.
Oh.
It's an in-joke of the channel.
Shouldn't have been made.
Ian, you should go see it. You'll enjoy it. Take your nieces. They'll love it.
Do you know what? It was a landmark for Disney when the cartoon came out because it was something that was never done before. But this film
Certainly not been done before, yes.
It should never have been made. This should never have been made. No reason.
If it was to have been remade, it should have been prioritized to make it.
No, none of the cartoons that have been remade.
Oh, okay.
They should be thinking of new stuff. They shouldn't be remaking old stuff. I don't see the point.
Okay.
What's the point?
Because they're creatively bankrupt. That's why.
Okay. Well, somebody else tried to make a Snow White with Lily Collins and Julia Roberts. They made that one maybe 10 years ago or 15 years ago. I don't know. Somebody made that movie, like not Disney, but a different studio. I've only seen a part of that movie, but that one seemed to honor what Snow White is more than this thing did.
Yeah.
I've got an idea. Price and Mega make a fan version.
They tried that on Daily Wire, didn't they? With Brett Cooper.
Oh yeah, whatever happened to that?
Ran into some problems there, but not because of the movie, but because of other things, I guess.
Brett Cooper.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's why she jumped ship. Okay, let's sidestep. Okay, so Rotten Tomatoes, 44% critics.
Bullshit, man.
71% population.
Ugh.
They have a strange thing now. Only if you buy a ticket through them or something, you can say. I don't believe it.
What?
I've said this before, and I'm not saying that this is all connected because I want to be very careful here. So this is all like allegedly, but at least for a long time, the guy that ran Rotten Tomatoes, like the big honcho in charge, was a guy that was like an old top executive, a former top executive at Disney that may or may not be friends with like the likes of Iger. And I feel like so many times strange things happened when there was like a problematic Disney release.
Yeah.
So I have a hard time believing anything I see on this site at this point.
So right now, if you actually go look at the ratings, among all critics, it's 43. Top critics, 28%. If you look at verified audience, the ones where you buy the tickets from them, it's 74%. All audience, 23%.
Exactly. I'm telling you, there's some. I knew there was some fishy shenanigans going on here.
Yeah. Wasn't there a video on X where somebody was in the cinema and they videoed the screen and then they showed the audience and there was no one in the cinema?
Oh, that was my
empty seats. Empty seats. Nobody was watching it.
Shall we?
Yeah, I mean, like Brown said, I had the same experience pretty much. I mean, mine had a few people in it, but considering how big, I went to a really big theater and there were just a few people there.
Wow. Yeah, there was, I think in mine, there was 2 mummies with kids and a couple others, no more than 15, including me.
I think it's the parents that drag their kids to the cinema. It's not like the old days where kids was, really excited to see something in the cinema. I don't think kids want to go to cinema.
You know what? I do. I'm going to disagree with you a little bit there, Ian, because there are movies that kids do still get excited for. Sonic was a great example. Yeah. Dogman, when that came out a few weeks ago, there were a lot of kids excited about that. I haven't seen
Dogman. I want to see it though. It looks funny.
So I think it depends, because this didn't have an audience for kids necessarily, because kids don't know what the fuck Snow
Can you
White
imagine
is
the
anymore.
kids going, "Mummy, the extras looks, the townspeople look so diverse and inclusive, mummy." That's all it was.
I can see myself on screen, mommy.
I'm represented on screen, mommy. Box office Snow White limps to worrisome 43 million domestic opening, 87.3 million globally.
Do you guys have March break in the UK?
March break, what's that?
Oh, okay.
No, spring break.
Spring break,
over here in the US.
Yeah, we have.
Okay, because over here we've got, like, in North America, there's one week in March that's called spring break or whatever, and I'm just wondering why they didn't release this during spring break, because it would have done a little bit better. There's a lot of kids that have nothing to do.
For some, it was spring break, so it was spring break around here.
Okay, yeah, spring break was last week for us.
No, Daddy, no.
Yeah.
Channel off there, folks. No, Daddy, no.
Brilliant.
No, this opening is frankly it's abysmal. I mean, that's not to say this can't go on and make money if it does well going forward, but as far as first weekend domestic, this is worse than the Marvels.
What do we know what the budget was? Was it 200 or 3?
No,
They're
confirmed.
They are admitting to a budget of 250.
That's bullshit. It's bullshit.
269. No, 269.
They're liars.
Is what they're
fucking
admitting
liars.
to. Yeah, it's probably at least another 100 or 150 million on top of that.
This thing cost along with the marketing and the production probably close to $500 million.
Yeah.
Same with Captain America: Brave New World. That's movies that they needed to make maybe $1.25 billion at the box office each to break even. They're going to lose hundreds of millions of dollars on each of them, and the press is not going to report any of it. They're going to probably 2 or 3 years from now, they're going to admit that it cost $500 million. That's what happened with Rise of Skywalker, and that's the Disney model.
Yeah, this would have, if even with their budget that they're admitting to, the 269, almost 270 million. Yeah, this would have to break 700-800 million just to quote unquote break even. There's no way it's getting anywhere close to that.
Atom Gray wrenched. Hello, Atom. 400 mil before marketing. I promise
very
you.
likely. Almost might even be 5 before marketing. They basically have shot this whole movie twice, I think. It's bad, but yeah, that opening weekend is a disastrous number for them. That is, like I said, that's actually a worse opening weekend than the Marvels. So, yeah, go ahead.
Opening Friday night for Disney's Snow White in IMAX. Only one person bought tickets for tonight. Yeah, the movie's going to flop. That's a big theatre. That is.
Yeah.
To be on your own.
It is.
I've done that.
Yeah,
I do that all the time.
I've been in an IMAX all by myself before.
No, I love it. I actually love being in there by myself. It's the best thing ever.
Is it on your own?
I love it.
It's great going to the movies on your own and having the theater to yourself.
Yep.
I absolutely love that.
Yep. I saw 2001: A Space Odyssey by myself in an IMAX. That was awesome.
It's wonderful. It's like I feel like a big shot. Like I rented the whole thing to my place.
Yeah,
like you are a big shot, though.
If I was like Elon Musk, I'd rent the place and then just sit there, and watch it myself. That's what big shots do. And like Disney have been setting up so many big shot moments for me in the past.
XBT, Wrenched, Watersport. I did that for the raid. I was the only person in there. It was amazing.
The raid.
Okay. I feel sorry for the theatres. They're trying to make money. My cinema closed down because of such scenarios as this.
I have no sympathy for cinemas whatsoever because the ones over here for 2.5 years were demanding to see your vaccination papers just to go into the theaters. So I have no sympathy for cinemas.
Happy anniversary.
So just as a comparison, the opening weekend of The Little Mermaid made 100 million. So this is really, really bad.
Is somebody's head gonna roll with this? Is somebody gonna get sacked?
No. Are you kidding? No.
Because it's not about the films. It's not about
the money. It's
about
the
breeding the new generation of kids
message.
And making sure that this stuff that they want out in the world is normalized. Yeah. That's what the end game is. That's what it is.
Not only that. Sorry, go on.
No, go on.
I want to say that they've already laid the groundwork for how they're going to spin this. There's 2 things that they're going to be doing. One, people didn't like the diverse casting of a Latina woman. That is going to be the first thing they'll say whenever they can. Disney fights for equality, but sometimes the world doesn't have there's bad people in the world. That's one thing. The other thing they're going to go for is, given the Middle East conflict, they're going to play on that stupid thing, which between you and me, that's the smallest of most minor part of their worries. It's not the Middle East conflict that made this movie tank.
Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot is not. I mean, you could say that she's not a great actress or whatever you want to say about her, but she is not what single-handedly ruined this production. I think that Rachel Zegler, the amount of damage that Rachel Zegler herself did by alienating people, you can't really compare it to anything else that went wrong here. Maybe in second place, the dwarf thing, the dwarf fiasco. Those are the things. The fact that they both have different opinions on the Middle East conflict, that's not what kept people out of the theaters.
They hate each other, don't they? But my mate got vaxxed just to see Dune. Was it June? Damn, that's commitment. Shall we sidestep?
Yeah,
Shall we sidestep?
Yeah.
This is in London somewhere. Swindon. I took this morning in Swindon, riding back from my son's boxing lesson. It appears that someone has vandalised the bus stop advert "Boycott and not Snow White" written on it, and also Snow White has been given a devil's pitchfork and tail.
Boycott for what reasons? Out of curiosity.
I think the guy who put this picture up did that. That's what I reckon.
Carl Benjamin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also,
did that.
Swindon's not in London, so Swindon's outside London. So there you go. Yeah. Move along.
This is one of the interviews where
God, she looks horrible.
it got tanked. This is the one where she says, "I was in a costume for 16 hours a day, and I want as every single penny I'm owed for every single moment people view this movie." So this was the other interview.
Oh, yes.
I deserve to be
remember
paid every time somebody streams my movie because I stood around in a dress.
Okay, fuck off.
Then.
Gal Gadot received star on Hollywood.
She paid for it. None of this means anything
somebody paid
now.
for it.
Yeah,
Yes, I'm
somebody
saying
Disney paid for it.
Disney
by the
probably
way.
paid for it.
none of this means anything now. When you got a star on the walk, then basically it was like they were honoring you, and it was a big thing. Now, if you pay for it, it destroys the whole idea of having a star on the doesn't it?
A quick question though: doesn't this fundamentally go against everything Hollywood stands for? Having a Jew that served in the army get a star on the Walk of Fame when they've been all support Ukraine, help you, or no, support Palestine, help Palestine.
Well,
give money to Palestine.
Maybe they thought that they would, level the playing field, because if
Smooth
some
it
people
over a
were
bit,
offended by Zegler and her remarks, this was a way to show that this is also. I do feel that they were trying to spin in a lot of different directions. I also think that this is the biggest tinfoil hat theory that I can give you, but I really believe it. Disney paid for this thing, and you know how I know it is that Gal Gadot says "thank you, Disney" while she's getting the star, and it seems like she's looking at somebody as if there's a representatives that we don't see in the audience, and she's like, "Thank you, Disney." So I'm like, okay, they set this up for her. Now, outside of this thing where they're giving her the star, there's like maybe there were like 4 or 5 people with like a Palestinian flag. Immediately, like a Variety, write like an article while this event is happening. They're already like, oh, the film continues to stir up controversy. People with like a Palestine, whatever flag came to this thing with the star. They barely had arrived on the scene, and Variety were already writing articles about it.
Yeah.
Now, why do I think that this is important? Because I think that later Bob Iger to his investors will say, listen, sometimes there's like a force majeure. There's a war in the Middle East, and we invested a lot of money in this, and moving forward, we'll approach things differently when it comes to politics. But in this one, we just couldn't get ahead of it. And that's going to try to be an excuse for why the thing didn't work.
Nothing to do with it.
I don't know. When I first saw Gal Gadot, I thought she was quite sexy. Now look at her and I think, nah.
She's not bad. How old is she? Early 40s? She's all right.
I don't know. There's something about her now that I just think, no.
Is it perhaps the tiny invisible hat that you're picking up on there?
What invisible hat? I don't see any hat.
That's it. Okay, shall we?
I like her, so
I like her too, but she's not much of an actress, but she is lovely.
Kalel
Cal, no.
No, but I will give you one thing, and Vex has said this before, and I tend to agree. I personally like it better when women that have like long hair and look nice with long hair. It's nice if they just let the hair like, if they start bundling it up in some weird way, it usually doesn't look that good. And I think that Gal Gadot recently, and Vex brought this to my attention, she likes kind of picking up her hair and crumpling it together like in a. I'm not a woman, so I don't know how to explain this.
It's a slick-backed hairdo. That's all it is.
I don't prefer the slick-back hairdo. I still think she's pretty, but I think that if she actually lets her hair down, she usually already like looks significantly better.
Yeah, my dad always used to say, the hair is a woman's crown and glory. He always used to say
she might be losing her hair.
I haven't got any.
Maybe that I don't know, but all I know is that when you see the movie and you see her walk into the palace and her hair is down, she looks amazing the way that she walks into the palace, in my opinion, in the movie. There's also something else. I don't know if this is true or not. There was something that she was on one of those late night things, and she said that when she had her fourth baby, she had some kind of she recently she had some kind of
global warming
medical emergency. It sounded pretty serious the way she described it, although she was like laughing it off, and it had something to do with her head. That like they discovered something, maybe they shaved something. I don't know. I could be wrong on this. Maybe I'm completely bonkers, but there was something about her head, like. I don't know if to say an aneurysm. There was something that they discovered.
Price, talk slower. Continue.
Talk slower?
Yes, please.
Why? What happened?
You just go. You keep going like a train, and it's. I feel stressed.
You're getting carried away.
Sorry, I apologize. I didn't know I was talking slow or fast. In any case, she had some kind of medical emergency, and I think that is what I suspect has something to do with the hair. I don't have any way to prove it.
Okay.
In terms of the hair thing, though, like for women's hormones, especially, like hair loss is a very common concern or issue after childbirth or after pregnancy.
Especially when you're on the Ozempic, which everyone is in Hollywood. Everyone.
Okay. Shall we finish with that? Are we finished?
I hope. I don't know.
Me too.
Are we done?
By the way, that wasn't a dig price. I was just like, oh my god, I'm feeling stressed at how fast he's talking. I need you to slow
I didn't
down.
even realize it. I don't know. I'm a strange person. Sometimes I won't say anything for an hour, then I'll say 2 words, then suddenly I'll say a million. So it's kind of unexpected. But I probably don't notice whatever I'm doing. So if I unloaded too much on you, my bad.
You unloaded? In fact, damn, must have missed that one. Okay, so have we finished with Snow White? Ultimately, very, very disappointing. Yes. Shit. Yes.
Yes.
No. Okay, let's move on then.
Speaking of ultimately disappointing,
are we doing?
Is it over now?
The last episode aired.
Are we doing Severance, everybody? Are we doing spoilers?
Yeah, let's do spoilers.
Last of the season. Anyway,
I'm going to take my headset off then because I still haven't watched season 2.
We'll do a private chat when it's done. Yes.
Okay.
Chat. There's going to be spoilers. Be warned. Severance finale. Apple TV Friday. There is spoilers. Okay, so who would like? Ian, do you want to go first, then, mate?
Yeah. This episode wasn't too bad, to tell you the truth. There's some really clever stuff in this, especially when God, what's the main character's name? I can't remember. He was talking to him. Mark was talking to himself, which I thought was really quite clever. There are other stuff in it as well that I just really pissed me off. And I think Price is going to know if Price has seen this episode, he's going to know what
I've seen it, and I'm with you. Go on.
So there's this bit in it where
the
guy with the beard starts beating Mark up. And I'm sitting there going, come on, Mark, grab his balls, grab his eyes, come on, throw a punch, do something. Then this lady comes out with the goat thing, and she starts beating the crap out of him. And I'm like, oh, for Christ's sakes. Bloody hell, a woman beating up a man twice her size again. and Mark couldn't even lift a finger to defend himself. And I just thought to myself, oh, just seriously, why they keep doing this in our entertainment? Anyway, apart from that, the ending was, to me, was disappointing. I don't know where they're going to take it from this point on. What are they going to do? Also, they dragged out the episode. What is the point of that musical number with Mr. Milkshake dancing and stuff like that? I was just thinking to myself, why are they dragging this out? Why? Do you know what I mean? So they can do that trick, so that he can go and find his wife. Do you know what I mean? And I just think to myself, I think I kind of believe in Price now. I think now that they finished this one and they want to go for a third season, what more can they do? What more can they do? They never explained anything in this episode. What are they doing with the goats? No explanation, right? There's loads of things that it either means one thing or the other, but there's no clear reason for why these things happen. Do you know what I mean? You have to keep guessing at it. Do you know what I mean? So, but anyway, I'll stop there because
Price is Right, is what you're saying.
I'm just saying that I think Price is just going to mirror what I'm saying. But let's find out, shall we?
Okay,
it was all right.
If I may, Prof.
Oh, no problem.
Have you seen it?
Oh yes, I did see it. Overall, I was much happier with this episode than I was the past 5 or 6 episodes. I didn't mind the start of the season, but the middle of the season was just a mess. Every episode, you'd get some breadcrumbs here. They would tell you something was going on, and then the next episode, oh, we're going to go over here and tell some side story about something else, whatever. It could have been edited. They could have driven these episodes in a different way, that we got some of the different stories all sort of put together in different episodes, rather than taking these huge diversions over here to tell whatever about this other character, and taking whole weeks away from some characters sometimes, and then other characters just disappearing from the story entirely. They really felt like they, for some reason, wanted to focus this season on the Innie Mark and his relationship with Helly. I don't understand why, but they really wanted to spend time with that. And then the interpersonal relationships being developed by the Innies. I guess they thought they were doing something very interesting and complex with this thing. I don't know, but overall, the last episode, much better than we had seen in the previous episodes. We did finally we did get some answers to what's going on. We did find out what the sort of the fate of what the projects that he was working on with Cold Harbor. I think we kind of have learned that what's going on with all of the people who are severed, they're not just there doing work for this company. They're experiments. They're human experiments, and they're doing all sorts of stuff to mess with their heads and see if they can manipulate them in different ways. The Cold Harbor project essentially seems to have been an attempt to try to eliminate emotion as a problem, so they could then control people. They would not have any emotional reactions to anything. But a lot of that is guesswork, because they don't really explain it to you. They just kind of show you, and you have to read into it. Overall,
I don't think they were doing that. I think they were wasn't the experiment putting multiple characters within one's brain? That's what Cold Harbor was. Do you remember?
There were all of the other projects that he was working on, all of the other files that he had done, and I think all of those different ones were finding ways to manipulate her emotions in different ways, and because what she was feeling in different places. Because one place she would be she would feel fear, another place she would fear anger, another she would there were these different emotions that she was dealing with in these different places, and I think what they were trying to do is find a way to use this chip to actually manipulate someone's emotions, and the point of Cold Harbor was that you could eliminate them. You could actually just get rid of all of those emotions in a person. But and that would be something tied in with this religion, and where they want to control the 4 tempers or whatever. It's weird. It's
We're
weird.
guessing.
Well,
That's the
I
whole
mean,
problem with it.
it's implied, so you're not actually told what's going on. It's just implied. So yeah, I mean, it is just kind of guesswork, but that appears to be what they were going on there for. But yeah, and then it appears that the only thing that the goats are there for is to be used as sacrifices for weird religious rituals. It's very strange. Overall, I did not hate this episode. It did have a lot more in it. It had stuff that I felt like they should have spread out during the season in the story that they were telling. I did not like the ending of it at all.
Okay,
It's nonsense. The ending was nonsense.
What about Helly? Helly, what's her name? E, right? Was it really Helly E, or was it the other woman that was there? Because I got confused. I don't know if you.
Well, yeah, and that's part of the problem, right? That they've set this up to where you don't actually know if it's her Audi or her Innie that's there. Is it Helly or is it Helena? And I do think in the end it was supposed to be Helly,
right
there. And then Mark, it's again spoilers, everybody, but Mark S, his Innie, decides to stay so he can be with Helly.
Yeah, but where's he going?
Yeah, exactly. What is he thinking more than 4 minutes ahead of, because is he just going to live the rest of his life on the severed floor?
Yeah.
Or are they going to hide? Are they going to run around and hide inside this building for the rest of their lives together? It's complete nonsense.
Shall we see if
what'd you think, Price?
Price can make any sense of this nonsense?
First of all, and I give myself a lot of credit here. I said that this was a yanking my chain show. The first season was good, but it really mattered what they did in the second one. And the second one, in my opinion, for the most part, has been a complete disaster. And I agree with Mega Geek and also with Professor that the final episode was probably better than a bunch of the previous ones that we had. The only problem is the final episode should be something that was built up, that you have this kind of emotional connection to it. And maybe when you see this final episode, you're like, okay, I'm really into this. But the problem is that all the previous episodes were so kind of lazy and poor that by the time you get to it, whatever emotional beats it's trying to get out of you, they just don't mean much. This is absolutely turned into a J.J. Abrams style lost production. It's the thing that I feared the most. And that so quickly they shit the bed is surprising, because it seems clear that they actually have no idea what they're doing. They have no plan. They never knew what they were doing. And this season is an embarrassment. That's what I think.
But other than that, you like it, yes?
No, and I hate when they waste my time. I hate when I see that it's like a yank my chain show and I continue to watch like some kind of idiot for no apparent reason.
I can tell you're annoyed because normally you would laugh that remark off, and you're not playing, are you, this evening? You're really annoyed.
No, because I wasted all this time watching it.
Price is pissed off everybody.
It annoys me that I don't like it when somebody doesn't have like an idea, they haven't fleshed it out, they don't know what they're doing, and they're just like, let's dangle. It's what's called carrot and the stick storytelling. They're like, and the final thing I'll say is that in this show, their tactic, how to keep you interested, is something that I call, isn't it weird? It's like, and let me explain the isn't it weird thing. It's like, isn't it weird that there's a goat? Isn't it weird that the Milchik is coming out with a band and they're dancing and doing weird things? Isn't it weird that that guy wanted to leave his Innie, but now he's going to stay, and his wife wants to go out with the other Innie? It's like everything's just like, and isn't it weird that Cobell lady shows up? Isn't it weird this? And it's like, no, it's not weird. Get to the point. Either tell the story or fuck off.
It's interesting because everything that happened in there didn't make any sense. Like, why go back to the Arquette character? Because we all know that she was the bad guy, and the sister knows it as well. There's loads of things that happened in it that just didn't make any sense to me. Like, for instance, when the guy quit, I can't remember his name, the roly-poly guy that was in love with his own wife.
It was a big bone.
Yeah. When he left, when he said, I quit, why would the other outie make him go back? Because we established that he was jealous of him and hated him, and so suddenly he's back again. Do you know what I mean? It's I'm totally.
He still needs the money.
There. Yes, I'm saying
he just needs the money. That's why he sent him back.
What I'm saying, I'm totally with Price here, right? They create situations where basically you're wondering, and they don't deliver it on the wonder. They just don't deliver on it. It's like what Professor says at the ending. They're running in slow motions down the corridor. Where are they going? Do you know what I mean? They know they're doomed anyway.
Yeah, they're going to be captured.
Yeah.
It's just stupid. There was the whole, you did mention, I forgot to mention, the whole the band, marching band thing that came in.
Annoying.
That it was clear that they were trying to recapture that feeling, that sort of weird, sort of mysterious feeling that you got in the first season during the music dance experience. Right, when they come in and the lights are all flashing and they're playing music and dancing around. It was a very strange, bizarre scene, and it really set the vibe for the show in a lot of ways. They were trying to recreate that, except obviously they have to ratchet it up a little bit, right? It's got to be even bigger and weirder. So now what? They have an entire marching band that's severed. What? That's no sense at all.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Okay. So, season 2, marks out of 10. Ian? Hello.
Or not.
Oh, I give it a
He
4
went
out of
critical
6,
mass.
Brown. Is it a 4 out of 6, Brown?
No, I think he'd have given it 3, don't you?
He'd give it. I give it a 3, Brown.
Okay, let's guess. Okay, it'll come back in a minute. Let's guess. Okay, I think that Ian will probably give it 4. Price, what do you think?
I think it was shit, Brown. I'm giving it a 3 out of 10.
Prof?
Oh, he's going to give it a 0 out of 10.
3 out of 10. That's my guess.
Michigan. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I did not hate this as much. There was a lot that I enjoyed about this season, but there was a lot that I did not like. But unfortunately, it's not going to get better than the whole season. Not going to get better than a 5 out of 10 for me. The first season was like a 9.5 out of 10.
Really?
Really well
good,
done.
yes.
Incredibly well told, well acted. All of the mysterious, strange stuff really paid off eventually. It really worked.
Right.
This season, they just, they did give you some answers to some stuff, but not enough. And they asked more questions than they answered. So, yeah.
Okay, we're finished with that. No
Wait, I didn't
spoilers.
give my score.
Oh, okay, go on then.
I gave Ian's. I said that he would give a 3 out of 10. I would give it a 4 out of 10.
Damn. I haven't seen it, but I'll give it 5.5 out of 10.
They could have fit the necessary, worthwhile parts of this season into like 4 episodes.
Here you go. Side Effect Legend in these parts, Wrenched. I haven't watched it. 2 out of 10. Ian.
Yeah. Sorry.
Hello.
Yeah,
You're
my
back.
internet's a bit weird.
Weird. Marks
Yeah.
out of 10 for season for this.
For the actual season itself.
Yeah.
That's 3, I guess. Wasn't very good this
Who
season.
said
I think.
3? I said 4.
Oh, because this
No, I
season
said he would give a 3.
Price said 3, so
Oh my god!
he gets the ring. Yeah.
I got the ring. I said he would give it a 3, and then I gave it a 4, and Professor gave it a 5.
Hello, Vex.
Because this season had a lot of episodes that
Don't
just
spoil it for Vex.
dragged everything out.
Yeah.
So it was obvious that they didn't have enough writing to drag how many episodes, whatever it was.
A lot.
So I just said, Ian, they could have fit the worthwhile parts of this season into 4 episodes.
Yeah, and so,
dear.
but again, right, that scene that I said at the top of my review that pissed me off so much. Again, another weak man. Again, a woman beating up someone twice her size.
Well, it was Gwendolyn Christie.
It doesn't matter.
She's twice Mark's size.
That guy with the beard would have stepped on her. That guy with the beard would have stepped on her. I'm sorry. It's bollocks. Look, all he had to do, right, is basically put his fingers in his eyes when he was choking him. All he had to do was do something. Do you know what I mean? Why does that main character have to be bloody weak? It really pisses me off.
Here you go. Kaiser Soze. Hello, my friend. Don't listen to them, Vex. It's good.
I have a question, actually. My hand has been up here.
Hi, Vex.
Hi, guys. Hi. So, I really, really liked season 1.
Yeah,
it's the best thing that Apple has put out, in my opinion. Season 1.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to continue loving
Forget
season 1 for the foreseeable future, should I avoid watching past season 1?
That would be your choice. But if knowing what I know now, I would never watch season 2.
Watch Banshee instead.
We are very likely getting a season 3, and my guess is season 3 will be the end of the
Yeah,
show.
season 3 was confirmed.
Yeah,
it will be the end of the show. Nothing has been explained, right? They've given us answers, but it could mean 10,000 things. Do you know what I mean? That's what pisses me off.
Okay.
So you're saying that if I just want to experience true edging, I should watch season 2.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just do the Severance things, and then I'll get back to the supers with Snow White. Snow White. 'Cause I forgot. Okay. After a disappointing few episodes, Severance delivers a masterclass in season finale. Absolutely stunning on so many levels.
I wonder what he was watching.
Got paid.
He wasn't watching Severance.
How much should he get paid to say that?
Yeah. I mean, look. It was enjoyable, I've got to admit, but it's just it just really pissed me off because there is no answers. Well, and there's going to be no answers in the 3rd season either.
I can tell. It's funny that people compared this to Lost. Honestly, after this last episode, I would compare it more to The Prisoner. Just not as well written.
It's not as clever as The Prisoner.
No. But the ending of this last season just reminded me of the.
Well, where are they going?
You're not getting any answers to anything. Move on.
Yeah, where are they going? And Mr. Milkshake hasn't got out that toilet yet, has he?
So you basically just saying forget it.
I just look. I hate what they've done. There should be some answers now, surely.
Well, okay. Well, there's an answer here. A new report has stated that Apple TV Plus is losing more than $1 billion a year on streaming. This loss comes from the tech company spending around $5 billion annually on streaming, though it attempted to cut that total down by around 500 million last year.
They don't care. They've got all the money in the world.
They've got all the money.
Those phones keep selling. Yeah.
They've got all the money, haven't they?
So I'm saying everybody's going to be. I mean, it's the Amazon. When people buy stuff of Amazon, it's all
Super
around the
corporate.
world, making billions every day.
Yeah, this big corporate.
It's funny because 2 days after this article came out, I went on my iPad and was making a thumbnail, and I noticed that I needed to. The little update symbol was there, and I clicked it, and Apple was trying to give me 3 free months of Apple TV.
Yeah.
Again.
They're going to make a season 4 of Severance, and season 4 will be the last season. And I'll tell you why I think that. Because right now, we are smart, and we know this is yanking my chain J.J. Abrams crap, but most people don't. So this season is still going to be enough of people talking about the marching band and thinking this is some kind of sophisticated, mysterious thing, and it'll still get the buzz they want, and that's why they approved it for the 3rd season. 3rd season is where I think even the normies will start figuring out that their chain is being yanked, and then because it was such a successful show and it'll still get some numbers for the 3rd one, they're going to say we'll do one final season to wrap up the story, and that'll be the final one. So I think the show will have 4 seasons.
Yeah, just to add on to that, it's we can all see through it because we've been media critical for so long, but there's a lot of normies that don't know any better that hype legitimately everything that Apple puts out, regardless of if it's shit or not. Because the production value is there. They're glazed over by how much money and how good everything looks at Apple, and they don't focus in on the little details. If Apple just put some concentrated effort into, because I remember they were losing something like $600 million on streaming or $800 million last year, and this number is still increasing, and they almost doubled their output of content year over year. So
we need Rebecca Gold on season 7.
No, it's no one will watch it if it's on Apple.
It's true. Nobody's going to watch it anyway.
At least you'd get paid, though.
Yeah, you get paid.
That'd be good.
if I may, I need to do some supers because I forgot
Sure.
on the Snow White bit. I'll get the graphic up for Snow White. Okay. Bear with me on Boomerang. Okay. Mega Spider-Man wrenched €5 to all. Do you have a favourite version of Snow White? Mine is probably the original Disney one. Just classic. Anybody?
Yeah, it would have to be the original Disney animation. Not only is it just a beautiful film, it's absolutely it's a piece of film history.
Yeah.
It built the Disney that we have today. Well, it built the Disney we had up until like the 1990s anyway. And then it really established feature animation as a thing. It's a gorgeous film, even today. So yeah.
The reason why I like
sorry.
it, sorry mate. The reason why I like it so much because it's very innocent and it's very black and white. You got good and evil.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's just that I think is
No
the
message.
best thing. The best thing about it. That's what I think.
And it's it's hilarious because one of the things I've seen with a lot of the reviews that I've seen for this new movie is, well, I'm not the audience. I'm not the intended audience for this. Whatever. That original film, someone can still go back. Someone could watch that as an adult and enjoy that original film. It doesn't have to be made for an audience of children, so that only children can enjoy it. That's such a stupid idea, and I'm so tired of hearing it from people. I'm not the intended audience.
I actually watched the original to prepare for watching the new one, and I really was impressed. I haven't watched it in a long time, and I thought to myself, oh, I'll watch it and I'll feel it's really dated. I probably haven't seen it since I was a kid. And then I watched it, and I was so impressed with the art of the drawings and everything. It's so nice compared to the kind of things we see today. It's unbelievable that they made it in 1937, and I was just kind of amazed by it. And it still holds up. I think that it tells the story that it wants to tell in a way that works. You watch the movie, it does whatever it's supposed to do, much better than the new one. With all of their money, with all of their AI, CGI, with all of their technology, with all their billions, they could not recreate the magic of a group of artists from 1937. I'm not saying that just to sound like clever or be like a wise ass. I am absolutely 100% saying the truth. They couldn't recreate it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
My favorite version of Snow White exists on Rule 34. That's all I'm gonna say.
I see.
Nobody got the joke.
No.
You'll get the joke. Okay,
no.
Is it a pano?
God.
She gets her name Snow White from something else.
It's like a Prano film?
Yeah.
Yes.
The Seven Dwarfs have something to do with it.
I see.
I'll say.
I haven't seen that
I haven't
one.
watched the original version since I was a kid, but again, I dressed up as Snow White several years in a row. I remember really enjoying that. So I'm gonna rewatch it though for when I put out my video.
Okay. There was another Flav Wrench World Sport 5 Boons opening day. My own hometown. It had 12 showings and 92 tickets sold by Thursday evening. Odin OBM is predicting a $250 million loss.
They don't care. The next film that they're going to be producing will still have the message in there, and it might be even worse than this one.
The message.
What is their next? What is Disney's next live action adaptation? Do we know?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, the very next one is going to be Stitch, Lilo and Stitch.
That looks good.
That comes out later this year.
Yeah. Okay.
I've been thinking about Bex wearing a Snow White outfit, and I kind of like that idea. Just want to put that out there. Go on.
You've got to word things a little bit better, I think, Bryce.
Okay.
What did I say? That wasn't good. I was giving you a compliment.
I was thinking about you earlier this week, Bex. Go silent. Finish the sentence.
But do you know what Disney might do though? They might actually take the live versions they've done of cartoons and make them back into cartoons.
It's gonna happen.
No.
It's gonna happen. They're going to take the the quote unquote live action Little Mermaid, and then they're gonna make an animated version with that version of the Little Mermaid. No question.
Will the lead have eyes that are wider past?
They just be on the side of her head like a fish.
Okay. I hope there was a new episode this week.
Yes, there was, and I saw it.
Reach everybody.
I saw it too, yeah.
Who's watching Reacher at the moment?
Me.
I'm watching it.
Yeah.
Okay. Price, I think it's your turn.
I think that it's fine. I
Spoilers, everybody.
Spoiler. I keep saying it every time. I didn't like this. I don't like this season as much as I like season 1, but I like it better than season 2. And it's doing it's doing whatever it needs to do for this kind of action series. There's little things that I could nitpick, but overall, some people said that this episode was a bit slower. I didn't mind it. I think that it's setting it up for the finale, and it did it pretty decently. And the way the episode ended really gives you the feeling that this final episode is going to be, hopefully, deliver something good.
Ian?
I love this episode. I loved how Reacher told that stupid loudmouth British girl, as Price would say, to back off at the ending when he had that big rifle in his hand. He's determined to kill that guy, isn't he? But I knew there was going to be a twist. I knew that that place wasn't the right place, whatever. But I just thought the whole thing worked. I was really annoyed when she decided to go to the FBI to do the raid, whatever it was.
Yeah.
That really annoying guy in charge and stuff like that. You can feel Reacher's anger. You can feel it as you were watching it and stuff like that. But I thought it was really good personally. Again, right, I don't understand why Reacher takes a shit from that stupid little woman talking a lot of bollocks. And again, Neely pissed me off a bit because she was cooler than Reacher in this. Always cooler than Reacher. I'm like, why? But we all know why. But I'm looking forward to next week because next week's the climax, right? Isn't it the climax next week? Anybody?
You're going to wait that long to climax?
Yeah.
I don't mind Neely. I know she annoys you, but there's a few things. One, first of all, the one thing that annoys me about Neely is that the actress is actually pretty, but they go out of their way to try to make it seem like she isn't. It's like
they tie her hair back, don't they? Really tight.
They tie her hair and they make it like braided. Whatever it is that they do, if you look at pictures of this actress without all their crap, she looks much better. And this whole philosophy really annoys me, that they're like, we have an actress that looks pretty decent, let's try to make her look bad. It's like, or make her look good. This is Hollywood. This is a movie. This is like a TV show. We want to see a woman that looks good. You hired one that looks good. Just don't ruin it.
Yeah.
So even if you look like she's built rather well, like in those scenes where, like, if you look at her, they go through such great lengths to try to make you not think she looks good.
She's quite thin actually, because there's that shot. I think it was in the hotel room when she's talking to Reacher, and she stands up, and she is quite thin actually. In fact, if she looks thin on screen, you can bet that when you see her in real life, she's much more thinner than what you see on screen. Obviously, because when you're on screen, you gain pounds on a monitor and TV, whatever. You know that rule, don't you? So I reckon she's a lot more thinner, which is interesting. But yeah, she does slightly annoy me. But I guess this is modern TV, isn't it? Modern stuff that happens in our TV shows. But Reacher's still good, though. The guy who plays Reacher, he's good.
Prof, have you seen?
No, I haven't been watching this.
Vex, you've not been watching, have you?
No, I hated season 1. I thought it was dumb as fuck, so I didn't bother with the rest.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry. It was just a waste of my time. And also, like, I'm not into roided guys like that, so I know the ladies like him, but I'm just like,
so that's the reason.
Too many roids.
That's the reason.
If he looked like,
you know what? Like, I'm not even ashamed to say it. Like, to a certain point, I can, if something is bad, I will keep watching it if the lead is attractive. Craven is a great example, but this was just so bad, and the lead was not attractive that I couldn't bother.
If he looked like Aaron Taylor Johnson and Craven, would you like the show
Probably
more?
would have watched. Yes, probably would have watched several times over. Yes.
Have you watched Craven again this week?
No, I haven't. I haven't watched it in about a month.
She's just dry.
Seasonal changes, you know.
I think you need to watch Craven again this week. Okay, so we're still enjoying it, guys. Yes.
I think it's a lot of fun.
Is it the finale next week?
I hope so. I really do.
Okay, Reacher, everybody.
I still haven't watched it.
We have. Me and Ian have seen it.
You have?
We have. Yeah.
Where'd you watch it?
Oh, we can sort it for you if you want.
Yeah, we got a really good copy.
Amazing copy. Yeah.
There was some. I'll let Ian start.
Okay. It was Tosh. Yeah. They were doing a take on Eco Warrior stuff, weren't they?
Oh yeah, that too.
A little
Yeah.
bit.
Mm-hmm.
Daisy was an ex-soldier who'd been booted out because she twatted the the sergeant or something for being an arsehole. So she became a window cleaner in London. So they're trying to do are we doing spoilers?
It won't. Nobody's seen it.
I think you can just say whatever you want, Brandon.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I'm just trying to think off the hoof. Unfortunately, I've got no notes or anything. Female diehard, yes, Ian.
I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Go on, Ian, help us out.
Okay, right. So the cleaner, right? It's the biggest load of shit I've ever seen. It really is. Right, I tell you, right, from the first frame to the last frame, it was absolute bollocks.
Why?
Right, so we start off with Daisy. She's 7 years old, right, and she's in a council flat.
Oh yeah.
And let me tell you something: council flats are not that big inside. She's literally hanging on to cupboards that are in the kitchen, like scaling it like it's like she's Spider-Man, right? And in the living room, her parents are having an argument, and then they're having a go at her brother. And she literally, I shit you not, she literally gets to the window.
Who's on the spectrum, by the way?
Yeah. She gets to the window. She pushes it forward. The window opens outwards. She puts her legs. She sits out there looking at, and the camera pulls back, and she's like miles up in this concrete, skyscraper thing.
Flats. Yeah.
Everybody knows that when you're in a council flat, you cannot put. It's if you had a window that went out that way. How dangerous is that? Do you know what I mean? There's no way. But anyway, that's the least of our problems. When we get to the actual building itself, when we get to actually Daisy, when she's like this age, she's a little boy. There's nothing feminine about her at all. And let me tell you something. The first shot of her is in bed with tats on her arm. She gets up.
Common people will love that.
Because she's late, she gets up out her bed, right? She looks like she's dressed like a little boy. She does all the things that men do, like, drink cold coffee and try to make a toast and it burns and stuff like that.
Oh, she doesn't drink cold coffee. Hold on. That coffee pot was sitting in a dirty sink full of dishes, and she decided to drink it. Yeah. Also, she didn't shower at all. So her pussy was stanky throughout this entire movie.
But right, what was really bad about it was it took 20 minutes for her to get to that building because she had to go and sort her brother and all this stupid joke of her swearing every time she got on the wrong bus and all that nonsense. Her bike wouldn't start. All that rubbish took up over 20 minutes. It took up of the film,
like 30 minutes of the film.
Yeah. So it gets worse, right? So basically, these terrorists take over the building. Just a long story short,
Clive Owen.
The thing that made me laugh is they had conversations right in the building. So somebody be in the building, she'd be outside, and they were talking through the glass. There is no way you can talk through the glass. That glass is thick, and when you're up that high, the wind. There's no way you'd have a conversation with someone outside that window. The whole thing is so fucking stupid. It really is. And it doesn't have any action until the last half an hour of the film. It has real action.
you,
but the action's not very good.
Do you recall why she left the army?
It says she punched out her
Drill
commanding
sergeant
officer,
or something
and it
like
was
that.
probably a guy.
Why did she punch out her command? She tells us why.
I can't remember. I was.
She
Because he
didn't
was
want
being a
to
dick.
listen to a man anymore.
Yeah.
Like she felt the army wasn't right for her. So that's
Yeah.
why she left and became a cleaner.
And also, right, the woman cop, right, she trusted her because she was a woman. It was like all the men were stupid. All of them. Every
I'm
one of
trying
them.
to think, how much did Clive Owen get paid to like
A
show
lot.
up in this?
A lot.
25 million.
And
pounds,
also,
apparently.
the director got paid a lot as well because he's a first class director and he was dumped
Martin
with
Campbell,
this shit.
yeah.
And he did the best he can. It was just this film was absolute nonsense. I was, you know what, right? The only entertaining thing about it was the stupid things that happened in it, and I was literally holding my stomach laughing so much because it was so stupid. The whole thing was just stupid. Like the relationship between her and her brother, right? All right, he's on a spectrum. The brother's on a spectrum, but he doesn't look like he's on a spectrum. He looks like a teacher or something. He looks like
he looks like he's on the spectrum.
No, I don't think so.
He does.
He didn't. Well, we have to agree to disagree there. He didn't look like he was on spectrum at all. He looked like someone from some British soap opera or
I thought
something
more
like
Commodore
that.
Amiga, to be honest.
If the brother was like 12 or 15, that would have worked even better. But they cast
I liked
big ass man.
Vex, did you watch it
brother.
then?
Yeah, I did watch it. I even sent you guys a link 2 weeks ago.
No, we didn't watch it that way. That was just terrible.
Okay,
That's a canned copy.
Yeah, I know. It was the only one that was up at the time.
You've got a better copy. I sent you.
Yeah, I saw that on the site that I usually frequent. There's a better one up. I just don't want to watch it again. There was a.
I thought you'd love this.
There's a scene towards the end, I remember, where because her brother is so autistic, and that means that he can't understand basic things or like when people are in trouble. So she's got to just like Ridley splain to him every 5 seconds. But like they're trying to like he forgot like his phone charger or some shit like that, and they're running through the stairway. And he's like, "Well, oh no, it's just he gets nervous because he realizes, oh, what if there are dead people down there?" And then she starts trying to explain, well, remember when Thanos did this in the marbles? I was like,
oh yeah, that's a bit.
Yeah.
Oh my!
Get the Affinity Stones, and he's like, "Oh, the Affinity Stones. Okay, let's go then."
And then he just like because he had hacked the school's computer, that's why he got kicked out or whatever. He somehow knows how to also hack the computer of this super billion-dollar oil company. The bad guys don't really have a motivation, so like the company or like the building that Daisy Ridley is a cleaner for. So basically like Extinction Rebellion, like the equivalent of them invade this building because this corporation has actually been polluting despite all of the sustainability marketing that they've been doing.
They're like Just Stop Oil with
the villain,
a small arsenal.
Yeah, the villain. The villain's plan is to kill everybody, including himself. That was his plan.
He just didn't care.
But like, it didn't make sense because Clive Owen was the leader, and he came in because like, oh, we just want them to say something so that the world knows. But then the other guy, the secondary guy, decides to kill him because that's not enough. And then his grand plan is to commit
suicide
death in Minecraft. With a bunch of people, and then that will make people care about the environment.
Yes. That's how stupid the script is. Also, right, I didn't recognize him until he started talking to her outside when she was hanging on the window. I said, "Oh, that's that guy in the beginning that was talking to her. That was her friend." Didn't recognize her at all.
Did anybody see the cameo from Greta?
No.
Was Greta in there?
No, I just made that up.
Oh, I was kind of excited for a moment.
Should have been the first one. Should have been the first one I shot dead.
What about the bit where she tells the police to shoot at the window? So they shoot at the window, right? It doesn't matter how many times you shoot at the window; she's never going to break through that window. Have you been in tall building?
He broke it with Thor's hammer.
Also, right, just a little fact about this film: that building that you see all the time. I used to work in that building. I used to be a cameraman in that building. Really? I know exactly what that building is, right? So I know I've been up that building so many times. I worked there for 5 years, and those windows are really thick, really thick. It has to be thick if the building's that what you call it, tall. And as I said, there's no way you can hear anyone talk if you're that high. The winds will be really strong. You know, the whole movie is just stupid.
You said Daisy's
What?
company produced this, though.
Yes,
Is that
apparently
true?
so. That's what I've been told. I don't know if it's true. I think she owns that company that produced it, or one of the companies that comes up in the beginning. Apparently, I like how they put Clive Owen's name on there, and he's only in it for like 15 minutes.
Not
Yeah.
even, in all
Not
honesty.
even,
Yeah.
yeah.
The action doesn't really take place until like the last 15 minutes.
Yeah.
On top, Daisy Ridley is just stuck on a
The
window
building.
cleaning platform for basically
most of
all
it,
of the
yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Okay. So, chamois leathers out of 10, Ian.
I would give it 2 because I laughed at everything. Every stupid thing that happened in this film, I laughed. I was belly laughing. It was so bad. But, I think some people will watch it and, normies will watch it and go, oh, it was all right. Do you know what I mean? But, when you watch Die Hard, everything that happens to John McClane, you're at the edge of your seat.
Oh, yeah,
everything.
yeah.
With this, right, all I'm thinking is, Jesus Christ, get on with it, will you? Do you know what I mean? Oh, I'm so bored.
Okay.
But anyway.
Vex, chamois leathers out of 10.
I'm gonna give this one 2.2 stinky beef sandwiches out of 10.
Yeah.
It's just like I couldn't really laugh at this because it was just so ridiculous. Like you could make this plot work very easily, and they just chose to go like the ridiculous route, but it wasn't satire was the thing. So
I could have written a better script
at one
than
point.
this. I could have written a better script. If they said to me, "This is the idea," I could have taken it in another direction.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So I'm just like, nothing about this was very interesting. The action wasn't there. Daisy Ridley can't act, and I haven't seen her in Star Wars, so I was just wholly unimpressed. The whole I'm not supposed to like capitalism, but like also I need to support like communist groups that are also funded by capitalist ventures. It was pretty funny. Like it's just like there's zero awareness to
$25 million budget apparently. Okay,
I'm blown that it costs that much.
Okay, you want my chamois leathers out of 10? Yeah,
sure.
I'm going to give it 5.5 chamois out of 10. While it's not perfect, I did enjoy it, Ian. It was shite, but I enjoyed it. And I didn't look at my phone once.
Each to their own. That's all I can say.
And Daisy looked not bad, to be fair.
Daisy would look so much better if they dressed her as a girl, a woman, a young, pretty woman. But they didn't. They made her like a boy. She looked like a boy.
Right. Get the titties out.
Why are you gay?
I'm not. Listen, I can just appreciate a woman's form, okay? Yeah. And this was clearly a film that was meant for a male audience, and you don't even play up the best aesthetic part of your entire film.
Well, while I was watching this, I was just thinking throughout the movie, I cannot wait for the skyscraper movie that's on the way, folks.
What's that G20 one? That's gotta be laughable as well. That one.
What?
But, yeah. Is it G20? What's that one where the president, what's her name, is playing the president?
Yeah, G20.
G20. Yeah.
Okay. And on that bombshell
as well.
Shall we move on?
Sure.
We've taken our time with this tonight. God.
Oh, no.
I don't think there's going to be any news, folks. I think we'll finish after this. Okay, so Daredevil. Who's watching Daredevil?
Which episode was this? This is the one with. This was nonsense.
Price, are you watching?
I'm gonna give up watching this now.
I've been watching. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Thoughts?
From what I remember, I think that this episode was just kind of there. This is what I'm hoping, and this is what also some rumors have been suggesting. These earlier episodes, they had to keep some of the crap that they filmed initially, and I'm really hopeful that somehow in the next episode or two, maybe there's like a takeover of a team that actually knows what they're doing, and the thing will get a bit better. I haven't hated what I've seen until now on this show, but it's still not like the original. The original Netflix series was really good. And this is just kind of, ranges from moments that I like to moments that I don't like at all. And I hope that they steady the ship. That's all I can say.
Price? Sorry, Prof?
Yeah, I've been watching it. I think Price said it really well. I think this episode was just there.
Yeah.
Things happened, but not much. We get to see that. Fisk and Murdoch are falling into old habits, and that was really about it for the episode.
You're not loving it, are you?
Not really. Not loving it. The last couple episodes have been real dull. I'll keep watching it. I mean, I'll keep up with it. Just to keep up with it. Maybe it starts getting a little bit better as we move through. But yeah, in fact, I think this last episode was probably my least favorite so far. Just not much really happened.
Well, Daredevil did cry, so just really pisses me off.
Go on, Ian.
Well, it was rubbish, wasn't it? I mean, this episode was absolute shit. It's again, right? Let's make the hero cry again. Yeah, let's make him cry, right? And as I said on Wednesday, he finds the bullet pretty easily, police, with his sonar thing and stuff like that. And he meets up with Punisher, and I don't know why Punisher's sitting in the room with a big beard and loads of stuff on the wall. I don't know what's going on next. I never saw the last season of Punisher, so I don't know where he is. Don't know why he's angry either. Don't know why Punisher's angry. That crap with, say his name. Why don't you say his name? All that shit. I was like, oh, please.
I didn't love that either. I think I was happy to see the actor that plays the Punisher, but that whole thing, including Matt crying, I didn't love that. I admit it. It kind of annoyed me. And the thing is, I actually did see all the episodes of Punisher, and I still couldn't remember why he would end up in the place that he ends up here. I feel like there's some kind of gap that nobody's explained to us, because the series left him off kind of doing something cool, and now he looks like a miserable bum, and nobody's explaining why. But that really is not my concern. The crying, you're right, it annoyed me. That whole conversation was way too long.
Yeah.
And really, the worst part of the episode that you didn't mention is the guy in jail that was angry at him because he wants to get off for free because he stole food and he should be able to steal it, or something weird like that. That feels like it was left over from the woke version, and they didn't cut it out. I really hope that this thing steadies and we start seeing less of this, but I don't know.
How could that black guy be right though? Everything he was saying was absolute rubbish, and then suddenly Matt Murdock is going, you can see in his face, oh, he's right. No, he's not. He stole stuff. He's a thief.
He stole it, yeah. And the thing is, he's like, well, I got food in the shelter, but it's not as good as this cake that I ate. It's like, dude, what do you want from me? They gave you free food? Free food is something. I mean, what do you want? I don't know. Like, you don't like the free food? You need to get like the food that you like out of the deli and steal it. It's just the whole thing was annoying, and even worse, he's like, no, I need probation. I can't stay. Like, screw you. It's like, dude, this guy is like a guy that just got another guy off of murder, and you should be getting the worst attorney in town, and instead you're getting like this fancy lawyer, relatively speaking, that's actually here to fight for you, and you're like, it's either probation or nothing. It's like, who are you? Who are you? Shut the fuck up. What do you mean it's probation or nothing? He's like, you too bland. You too bland.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's taking the mickey up being blind.
You're some miserable guy that's been arrested 70 times, and you're yelling at this guy to like get you off with like no probation. The whole thing was stupid. That really did annoy me. And like Matt's still trying for him, and he's like, well, I got 10 days. 10 days? What am I supposed to do for 10 days? It's like, dude, you just stole a bunch of shit and you keep getting arrested. Sit your 10 days and shut the fuck up.
Here you go, folks. Internet Help Desk. Wrenched will spot. Hello, my friend. I gave up after episode 2. You can tell where the reshoots are because it's all a massive change of pace and acting.
But do you know what pisses me off, Price? What pisses me off is that when you're watching a show like this, right, you know what the proper response is, right? Matt should have said to him, okay, fine, right, I'll get you another lawyer. That's what he should. But because the script's so bad and they need it to go from point A to B to C to D, they push this stupid narrative so they can get to the next bit. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, and not only that, they needed like Matt Murdock to again sort of listen to this guy talking about his troubles. The dumb thing is, even if you wanted to do something semi woke or whatever it was, there was a different way to do it. All they needed to do, they needed to have this guy have, let's say, a kid that's sick. Okay, the kid is sick. He went to the store to get some food for the kid. He's desperate, and the kid is about to die or something. He has some illness, and he doesn't have enough money to take care of him. And he brings him some weird crap from the store, and then gets arrested. And then he tells Matt, you know what? I can't stay in jail. My son is sick. I did this for him. I'm desperate. At least then you're like, okay, Matt wants to fight for justice here. He wants to help this guy. And you're like, okay, I get it. But that's not what they did. Instead, he's like, nah, I want to eat. Were you bland? I want to eat. It's like, what am I even looking at?
But the reason why they're doing that is because the man is black. And so, so no black man or no woman could be wrong. It's like it's
right, exactly. No, you're right, but it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I agree with you. That was the low point of the episode, even worse than Matt crying.
Okay, speaking of low points, common people, wrenched. I'd watch a prawn with Vex dressed as Snow White and Price shouting at her.
I kind of like where this is going.
Oh dear.
Ian could direct.
Yeah, I'll direct it.
We'll do the GoFundMe. Let's revise your GoFundMe.
Yeah. Common people, are you going to write? Common people's obviously going to write the script.
I won't have any swearing in it, Vex. I'll make you dress like a boy. So there you go.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Okay. So anything to add then with Daredevil? It's make or break next episode.
Next week.
Is it make or break?
For me, if the next episode doesn't buck up, I'm out. I'm not going to be watching. I have better things to do with my time. Do you know what I mean? So.
Price, it's this week then, isn't it? Wednesday's episode, yeah.
It's Tuesday, and I'm going to watch it, but I really hope that this thing gets better. There are parts of it that I don't mind, but it's like a mixed feeling situation. Certain scenes I like, certain scenes I don't like at all. And I'm really hoping that it gets better. That's all I can say.
2 episodes on? Is it 2 episodes? It's
I think we're 4 episodes in, or 3 or 4 at this point.
Well, the ratings is abysmal, so I don't see how they could justify making another season. But
the second season is already made.
Right.
They shot these 2 together.
Gotcha.
They took one season that was supposed to be 18 episodes and just turned it into 2 of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, shall we side? Well, fuck knows. Okay, it's kind of like Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos says the old Marvel television regime prioritized cost saving over improving the shows. It shows. We wanted to make great television. They wanted to make money. I thought we could make money with great television.
Do you know what, right? It is possible. All the people that are in charge, right, who give out the money, who hire, all they have to do is leave the creatives alone. Just leave them alone, right? Let them do what they're supposed to do. You hire them for a reason. Let them do what they're supposed to do, and then you'll get a good show. Do you know what I mean? But there's interference. There's the agenda. You've got to have a woman that's a woman boss in it. You've got to have this. You've got to have that. Do you know what I mean? If they just concentrate on telling the story and forget about all that nonsense, just like when Netflix first started with Daredevil, then it would be good. But no.
Yes, and Netflix has absolutely no room to talk on.
We're
going to spend more money to make better television. No. First of all, Netflix didn't make these shows. It was Marvel. And then many of the shows that Netflix has made, they've thrown away, hundreds of millions of dollars. They just threw away $300 million on this disastrous movie that they just made. One of the worst reviewed things ever on Netflix. Money doesn't make good television. This is a stupid quote.
Yeah.
But it's not that they don't care about how many people watch it. All you have to do is watch 5 minutes of it, and then that's that. You know what I mean? It's a different ball game now. It's not like network TV. It's all about the algorithm and making money through the algorithm, and they don't even have to watch the whole show anymore. The last time I looked, Electric State was #1 on Netflix. I think it's gone down now, but being number one, that means
It's
a
still
lot
in
of
the top
people
10
watch.
movies.
Oh, right. So there you go. A lot of people have watched it, even though it's really bad. So they don't care how bad it is, as long as people watch it, right? So we can scream blue murder as much as we want, but they don't give a shit. You know, they're making money, aren't they?
Vex, anything to add?
No, these are unsurprising words by a person who clearly doesn't understand what's going on.
Well,
so
CEO. Okay.
he still doesn't seem to know what's going on.
Okay.
If we're just reading this out of context.
Okay.
I like the actual article though. Hold on, I'm trying to find the actual article.
When you're ready.
We wanted to make great television. They wanted to make money. Yeah, that's actually that's kind of the whole point.
But that's not, yeah, money. But even the network TV was like that as well. But they made great shows. Do you know what I mean? It's that's the whole point of making TV is to make money. The whole point of making movies is to make money. Do you know?
I think a lot of the problem is as well, they only have to make 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Whereas back in the day, they'd make 20 and, just seemed to be better quality as well. I don't know.
So, in this article, by the way, so according to this article, Netflix has 300 million global subscribers now, and for 2025 is expected to plop down $18 billion on content.
That's what I'm saying. So they don't care. Why would they care? It's just making.
It's just money. It's just money.
Yeah, exactly.
It's money.
So in other words, the art of making TV shows and making films is going to be lost. All it is, we're going to be the filmmakers are slave to the algorithm and a slave to the
rhythm.
Slave to the rhythm.
Slave to the rhythm. Yeah. Okay, there is a lot of slides that we're not going to get to, so we're just going to go straight.
You can get to them. We can go quickly. It's okay.
No, this is a 5-hour stream.
Get in the bin. Who's in the bin? Is it Shooty?
Not this week.
Is it Shooty?
Not this week.
Is it Mr. Brown?
Oh, I live in the bin. You know that. Okay.
Is it Greta?
How dare you? It is a double binning, but I'll only do one bin. We'll save the rest we'll come back another day, do the rest of it. Is it Keir? No, I wished it was. Is it Ursula von der Leyen? Yeah, I wished it was.
Is it Severance?
No, that's season 3 when it starts, probably. Okay. Who saw this?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's an absolute classic.
Amazon forest felled to build road for, is it COP20, whatever?
Yep.
Yeah, it could have been Heathrow, yeah.
Huge climate summit. What are we going to do? Well, we need to build more infrastructure, so we're going to tear down the forest for a climate summit.
Yes. It's very two-faced, isn't it?
Idiots.
That's really what most of these people that love all these agendas, that's exactly what they do.
It's never, ever been about climate. It's never been about the planet. It has always been about control. That's all it's about.
The money.
It's about money and control. Money and power.
On the anniversary of the biggest moment of control, ironically.
Mm-hmm.
The world's just gotten meaner.
Well, that's...
Yep.
It's flat-wrenched. We'll spot, yeah.
Yeah, it's about finding some way to guilt you into accepting their particular narratives, accepting their control over your life. Mm-hmm. And so they don't care about tearing down the forest. They don't give a crap.
They don't care.
And on that bombshell,
they're going to fly and they're going to land in their airport in their private jets. Yeah.
While the rest of us struggle. Mm-hmm. Welcome to... Do you know, when I was watching Snow White, I thought, okay, I'll pop into the mall and get a McDonald's. And I just was watching all the people going by doing the lives, and I just thought, all these people here have been through shit the last 5 years, and we were doing pretty well 2020. I paid for the McDonald's. It was like, it cost 3 times as much as it did 5 years ago.
Yep.
Preaching to the choir.
What
Yeah,
the fuck?
It's insane. Yeah.
None of it needed. None of it needed. And everything 3 times more expensive.
I took my family out to eat at a buffet.
Unbelievable.
Took my family out to eat at a Chinese buffet the other night. We were traveling. We stopped to eat at a Chinese buffet. $100 for all of us to eat.
Fuck.
That's crazy. It used to. You remember? I'm sure McDonald's does it in the UK too, but they have like the summer drinks, the dollar drinks, in the summertime.
They've gone.
Yeah, well now it used to be like a medium. You could go and get like a medium iced coffee for $1. That was great when I was working mornings and I would forget my coffee. And now it's like, oh, you get a small and it's not $1, it's $1.25. And the small is literally the size of like 3 espresso shots. That's it.
My local Chinese takeaway 5 years ago, £5.50 from what I wanted, £9 now.
I
haven't eaten out in almost the last time I ate out was for my wedding anniversary. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Quantitative easing, yes. That was a big problem, yes. Quantitative easing, everybody.
I don't want to hear about the eating out on your anniversry.
Okay.
Oh,
maybe I do, actually.
I wasn't being dirty. For once, I wasn't being dirty. I was being sincere. But it's just every time I'll go to like a takeout place and I'll want to like get what I usually want to get, and then I look at the price and it'll be like $15 to $20. It's like,
oh yeah, it's wild.
$20,
right? For the same price, I could get a week's worth of meals at the grocery store if I'm smart about what I buy.
Yeah,
I can't like
student talk. That is student meals talk. Anyway, okay.
It's really funny because if it's too much money to spend on groceries, you end up going to Lidl. Because Lidl's cheaper.
Yeah, Lidl's cheaper. Great.
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, Professor, what does the Chinese buffet usually cost? I just don't usually eat Chinese buffet, so I'm wondering what did the prices used to be?
Oh, we used to probably be able to go out you probably take the whole family. Of course, the kids were younger, so sometimes they got, kids rates and stuff. But, probably $60, $65 for the whole family.
I see.
And yeah, now after a small tip, $100.
Well, before I could get a McDonald's for me and the old fella for probably about £9, nearly 15 quid yesterday. Just fucking unbelievable. And finally.
What's... Oh, for fuck's sake. Give me some money. Right, let's move on, shall we?
What's this, Ian? What's he saying? I'm still begging. Our Indiegogo campaign.
Begging. Yeah. Just give me some money. I mean, I'm sounding like a broken record here, but it's almost finished anyway.
Come on, folks.
I need to do 2 days.
Ian's. We do this every week. Ian is using his own money to entertain you, folks. Come on.
Give me some money.
Come on.
Don't guilt them. That's the worst way to
I know. Ian's pushed me in a corner, though.
Oh, sorry. Franco Walker arranged. Watch the first series of Rebecca Gold here. There you go, folks. Yeah, watch season 1 and then make a decision, even though in fact, all the people in the chat will know about it. So, How is the shooting going?
It's going well, actually. I don't really, because usually on shoots you end up arguing people, having fights and stuff, but not much has happened really. It's a shame, right? Because our budget's so low, we don't have anyone doing behind the scenes. Sometimes we've got pictures, someone takes pictures like this for this, but usually it's good to have someone, shooting behind the scenes stuff so we can do the making of, but couldn't afford anyone, so gonna have to make do with pictures.
Here you go, Alex Ashgan, Wrench. Hello, Alex. Just go an open bar, Mega. Surely drinking would help.
Well,
that's a bone of contention.
That's another subject matter.
Okay, so when are we thinking it's going to be finished, Ian?
September. I'm hoping September it's going to be finished, and I'll release it in September, and then First of all, the people that actually help me are going to see it first.
Yeah.
Yeah, first, and then everybody else second. So, yeah.
Okay. So we'll get there in the end. Yes.
Yeah, we will.
Okay. I think that is it. We will be coming back at some point to do the slides. We didn't do any of them. Episode 267 Musings. Today's date, everybody. Chat, you are wonderful. Thank you for the interaction, the super chats, and turning up. And what more can I say? Hello to the Slayer Nation for the Slayer, George the Giant Slayer raid. Wayfarer's doing his gig, Fifth Element music. It's going to auto direct as well. So
I love the Fifth Element.
It's a good
Yeah,
movie.
it's good. Yeah, it's good.
It's a good movie. That is it, folks. I will thank the guests. Let me get them on. The wonderful, the mighty Vex Electronica. Cheers, Vex.
Oh, hold on. Please, everyone, please donate to Ian's Indiegogo campaign. Just $1. Just one itty bitty dollar goes a huge way.
Is it one titty but $20
One itty bitty dollar.
dollar.
Cheers, Vex. You are the best, but you know that. Okay.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Cheers, Vex. Mega Geek. Cheers, Em.
No worries, guys. No worries. Donate.
Yeah, donate. Vex has got plenty more of that.
Yes.
Professor R2.
Yes, always good to be here. Glad to be here with everyone in the panel tonight. Great to see everybody out there in the chat. Hope everyone has a great week.
Price of Reason. Cheers, Price.
Yeah, great being here as well. And
You sure?
Absolutely, yes.
Good. Correct answer. Are you guys plugging?
Oh yeah, we on Tuesday and Thursday, Professor and I have the Night Owl at 11:45 p.m. Eastern, and that's on my live channel, Price of Reason Live, which is currently the only channel you can actually find of mine. That's a whole different story.
I think a lot of channels are just getting shadowed.
I can't imagine why. Because I said that Zegler was a bad movie, like she was bad and the movie was bad. That's a strange reason, but I'm not going to get into it.
Vex, are you plugging anything on YouTube?
I'm plugging something. Sundays I'm live at my channel 10 a.m. Eastern.
Great live stream, guys.
Thank you. I don't know what I'm going to review next week, but this morning I reviewed season 3 of Invincible, so you can go check that out if you'd like. I'm going to try and get a Snow White video out this week. I've been AFK from the pre-recorded scene for a while, so hopefully I can get that out.
That is it, folks. We will return. We've got most of a show to do yet, so we will return at some point this week. So Beast Up. Don't know tomorrow. We're going to be back Wednesday. We'll be doing the open bar modding Thursday. If we don't see you during the week, have a great week, everybody. Back at the weekend. Take care, everybody. Have a great week.
Ta-da.
Timing.